and Delta Property Fund, which holds a majority government tenant base, is on a mission to revive and revitalize its operations in a sustainable way. It also plans to reignite the call for transformation in the listed property fund space. I'm joined by Siyabonga Mbanjwa, CEO at Delta Property Fund. So Siyabonga, 10-year listing celebration. So congratulations to you, the team, the company. But it's also your 9th in this position, if I'm not mistaken. So how's it been? What's been the highlight for you?
Well, I think one of the highlights is the fact that I've worked with a really strong board that I'm very comfortable with, and I've worked with a CFO that's got a lot of listed property experience, who's brought that to the fore. So that's given me a lot of comfort, and you've got a lot of Delta team members that have been there for many years, that work very hard. So with that team, it basically gives me hope that we can take this fund forward, and we've developed a relatively realistic and ambitious corporate strategy. So we're now implementing that. So it's been quite interesting, but some positives on the go already.
Indeed. And I want to talk to you some of the challenges that you experienced. But before we get into that, I want to talk about the strategy.
Yes.
Now, in particularly as a black owned property fund.
Yes.
How do you view the environment? I mean, there's not a lot of companies like that on the JSE listed. Do you think that progress has been made, and what else needs to happen?
Well, it's firstly, I think the property market right now is a tough market. So we firstly have to face just what everybody else has got to face. Secondly, we are a specialist fund. So 95% of our business is in the office sector, and as you know, the office sector is going through a number of challenges. But one of the positive things with this fund is the fact that we have a AAA rated tenant. So 84% of our business comes from government, and government is a AAA rated. So we're a sovereign underpinned fund. I think, you're talking about transformation. Transformation in the property space is something, especially the commercial property space. It's something that has been a struggle over many years. So when we listed 10 years ago, there were only about 2 or 3 listed funds. Regrettably, even today, we have 3 black listed funds. So it means that not much progress has transpired in the listed property space. A lot more needs to be done. So clearly there are barriers to entry, and those things need to be then addressed.
What are the main barriers to entry?
Well, property is a capital intensive asset class. So you need debt, you need equity, and a lot of black business people, black people in general, battle to have access to firstly, equity, because you've got to put in a significant amount of equity, and of course debt as well. As much as we've got a very good financial markets, we've got good banking sector in South Africa, to convince a bank to give you, let's say, 50 to 70% of the value of the property as debt is a challenge. Like I said, you also need to put in your own equity. So those are just some of the main sort of barriers to entry.
Now, to go back to an earlier point that you made in terms of your AAA rated tenant, the government.
Yes.
Now, another property company actually recently went into business rescue, claiming that the government wasn't paying them, Rebosis. Is this something that you have experienced, and how do you tackle that?
Yeah, look, we obviously cannot talk for Rebosis, but and I think it's regrettable that a black business has got to go through that kind of situation. But what we can say regarding our business and our collections with regards to government is that, we reported at the end of the last financial year, which was February 2022, that 112% of our collections, of what we had billed for the entire year, is what we actually collected. So we actually collected 12% more than what we billed. As at the date of, let's say, August, we issued a pre-close update, because we are in a close period at the moment, and we reported that even then we have invoiced but basically collected over 100% of what we've collected. So what it does mean is that we've got a team that's able to deal with government. We've got a team that's able to bring in the cash into the business. Yeah, that's how it's going at the moment.
Okay. Now to go back to your earlier points, let's say a checkered past is the environment that you came into as CEO,
Yes.
with the company really going through quite a bit of corporate governance issues that was quite widely reported. How tough was it to overcome this, and what was your winning strategy?
Well, we've developed a strategy basically that's based on 5 pillars, the key ones being portfolio and capital structure optimization. So the portfolio needs to be recycled. So we have got vacancies where they shouldn't be. We had month-to-month leases where they shouldn't be. So we've been tackling a lot of those key sort of metrics to make sure that we get them to where they should be. So basically assets that are in regions that we no longer want to operate in, we are now looking at disposing those. So we're looking at areas such as the Northern Cape, the Free State, the Eastern Cape, as well as the Northwest Province. So those kind of provinces are provinces that we've decided we need to get out of. So we're going to focus in your bigger sort of metros, but also including Nelspruit as well as Polokwane. So we're looking at recycling the portfolio, but also we're looking at optimizing the capital structure so that the business is brought back to sustainability. We're focusing on our people, getting the right people in place, getting the right capacity into the business so that we can be able to drive the strategy going forward. We're focusing on business development. And lastly, we also want to rebuild trust with our investors, with our lenders, with our tenants, with our employees, with basically all our stakeholders. So that's more or less the crux of our strategy.
Now, if you had to look ahead and focus on one thing, I mean, we're celebrating 10-year listed on the JSE.
Yes.
What's the main focus you're looking to for the next 10 years?
For the next 10
Big
years.
question.
Look, I think back in the days, bigger was better. I think now it's more about being lean and mean, but also being able to have a business that will take us to sustainability. So that's exactly what we're doing. The portfolio size is reducing slightly at the moment, but we're trying to make sure that the business is structured correctly so that it can take us forward from a sustainability perspective.